Welcome to the Connie G Show, everybody. My name is Conrad. How are you, buddy? Today is Tuesday, September 20th, 2022, the year of our Lord, and I'm back in the shed. Yes, that's right. He went back to the shed. He's back there doing his stupid podcast again, all by himself. I wish he'd just learned nobody's ever going to want to listen to that idiot. I've learned. I get it. Yeah, it is hot out still, dude. I guess we're just going to say that every show. I guess we're just going to start every show talking about weather. Like it's Al Roker. And it is hot out there, Al. Tomorrow's supposed to be nice, 98 degrees. Great band. And we'll figure it out, I guess. I went over to Shannon's house today and, took him to lunch. We had to go to Walmart to, talk about just to see how the robots are doing, the robot shoppers. And also to get some oil and an oil filter to change the oil in Gold Thunder to Old Thunder that sits here in Oklahoma. So he has been working on replacing the valve cover gaskets on a 2000 BMW. And a lot of you guys probably have experience doing that. So I don't need to tell you something you already know. But what happened is he was at the point of torquing down the valve covers and had got the gaskets and the goop on and was torquing them down. And you put 7 pounds of pressure, and you have to do it in a certain order. And he was doing all that. He had 2 nuts left to put onto the studs that the valve cover sits on, and he tightened down one of them, and the damn stud broke into the nut. So he was very upset. I mean, not like, don't think of like the most upset somebody's ever been, because it's not that, but upset. Like, what the heck, karma kind of deal. And anyways, we watched a couple videos on replacing the stud and got a couple ideas, and then we could have dicked with it the way it was, but we decided to he took the valve cover off again, and then we got the stud right out, and we ordered a new stud. So my hands are all gribbly still. I could have washed them, but I didn't. So anyways, no news on the building. We're trying to buy a building here in Oklahoma. We're gonna sell tacos out of it and more, and it's gonna be awesome. And everybody in the world is gonna know about it that cares about tacos, which is pretty much everybody. And it's gonna be fun, and everybody's invited. And I hope that I hope it happens. I'm pretty sure the bank is waiting for the news out of the Federal Reserve tomorrow, where they're gonna do a rate hike on loans. So we get to wait for that and go ahead and get that extra 0.5% or whatever added to our loan. But anyways, we're going to do it. And when it happens, dude, it's going to be, I'll need Caleb to come down here and help me, and all the other people that listen. Steve, and Steve's closer now, so he'll just come on down and grab a paintbrush and a taco, and Chris and everybody else take some time and come down, and we'll get it together. And if you don't, I'm just saying, the door's open. We'll feed you and give you alcohol. We can do that. And then on top of that, we're not capable of doing much more until we get the thing going. Then it's going to be, you're talking freaking live golf money. I mean, you're talking, dream big. That's what they say. And so sit around and be like, we're not in it for money. We're not. We're not silly, and we know how much money, we can predict how much money it will take, and effort and time and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but at the same time, it'll pay off in the end, A lot of people looked at Mel Gibson when he said he was going to be an actor and said, but you're not that good looking, and you're not funny, and you're not great at acting. And he said, yes, I am. And he went out and he did a movie called Braveheart. And then the man became synonymous with William Wallace people at awards shows would be like, "Is that William Wallace?" And they would say, "Oh, you mean Mel Gibson?" It's synonymous. And he did Lethal Weapon, and then he started directing. He did great little film, Passion of the Christ. If you guys want to if you're ever feeling sad, watch that one. That's a good one. So, nobody believed in Mel Gibson, and then all of a sudden, he's the king of the world. He has a few pops, says a few things that are probably meant for a different room, but says them and gets in trouble for a bit, but he's back. He's doing it, dude. I watched Get the Gringo. We all watched that, so he'll be all right. And so will we, is what I'm saying. So will we. Oh, sorry. I got snot. I got like a allergy or something. A lot of people probably don't wipe it in the inside of their shirt, but this is a dirty shirt. I can do that. I was thinking about this the other day. I was watching TV, and sometimes I get access to different channels than you guys. It's not because I'm better than you or anything. It's just because we steal my brother-in-law's YouTube TV login, and so whatever he has signed up for to watch dirt bike racing and stuff also includes these auxiliary sports that nobody really knows about, nobody thinks about unless you participate in them. And I've talked to you about Billiard TV, and that's one of the ones that I'll watch pretty regularly. But another one that I've been watching is women's rugby. And the other day it's collegiate. So these athletes that I'm watching, these women athletes that I'm watching, they might have spent their morning studying for a final. And they might, after the game, after the match, the bout, they might have to go, finish up a chapter in geometry or whatever. And so it's really amazing watching this, because college football gets all the glitz and the glamour, and as it should. It has a massive following. And, they're unbelievable entertainers and great costumes. And it's made for TV. It's fun to watch, and you pick a home team and you become entrenched in it, and you can let it consume you to as much as you want or as little as you want, and it's beautiful. And there's so many analysis and speculators that sit there and give you ammo to have things to talk about at your job with other friends that might be fans of the same team or opposing fans. And then you can have spirited debate based on the analyses of these experts and the performance of your team thus far. But when you get into these smaller sports like women's rugby at the collegiate level, not a lot of people are familiar with how the Stanford rugby team is doing. And did they beat Dartmouth the other day? Not a lot of people watch it. But what's so crazy about it is, what I was thinking about is, there's no weight limit in rugby, as far as I know. And I've done literally zero research on this fact. And you're going to find that if you listen to me often, I've done pretty much zero research on anything I bring up. That's the point of the show. If you want to show that researches stuff, go listen to, Tucker Carlson's podcast. And he might research some stuff while he's sitting in his sauna. There's plenty of shows out there that do research. That's all they do. Here, we go off of instinct and thought. You know what I mean? Gut. This is a gut feeling show, okay? And so, from what I seen on the screen of my 30-inch TV, that looks very small on my wall, and I didn't mean to rhyme all that stuff, is there's no weight limit in collegiate female rugby. And so, if you don't know what rugby is, they basically overblow up a football. They expand a football. So they take a regular football, make it out of soccer material, so it doesn't have the pigskin leather looking thing that NFL football has. And so they oblong a soccer ball and then overinflate it to where it's not round, but it's not, it's not Hey Arnold. It's not football shaped either. It's a little bit fatter. So you can barely throw the damn thing, and you can kind of kick it, but it still will do some wacky bounces. And from what I understood in the 5 minutes that I spent with the sport is you advance it. It's kind of like ultimate, I think it was called ultimate frisbee or ultimate football or something. But you would throw the ball or kick the ball to a teammate. They would catch the ball, start running, get frickin' waylaid by some ginormous woman, and then like hand the ball off or toss it to another co-player of theirs, and they would advance it till they got just shellacked and eventually get close to, I guess, the end zone where I think you try to punt it or kick it through the uprights, and that's how you score. I didn't see any scoring because it was so damn violent that it was hard to, it's hard to look away, but it was also hard to understand the rules of the game. Somebody was winning, somebody was losing, but the most amazing thing was they kicked this ball off, and then this beautiful little 5'7", hard body grabs it and starts running, and I was like, oh my, she's really running hard, and she was running hard straight towards, and then all of a sudden just gets planted by this probably Hawaiian Manti Te'o type, just this Hawaiian girl who just knocks her all the way back. Really gets a good shot on it, probably concussed. If women had, and I think a lot of times people forget that women have more air in their head, I think. So the brain doesn't, it's a smaller brain and there's more cushion of air is what I've come to understand. And so when they hit their head on the ground, the brain doesn't bounce off the skull, causing the CTE stuff, causing the concussion. It's almost like women, from what I understand and what I've read about and I've heard from Dr. Jill Biden, is it's almost like women they kind of walk around concussed all the time. There's no fear of giving an adult woman a concussion because you can't do any damage to something that was it's already damaged. It's kind of like if you ordered something from Amazon and you opened it up and the package was damaged, you could take the thing out and then call them and be like, hey man, this thing fell out of the package when I got it. It's already messed up. So that's kind of like with women. Like, the brain's already messed up, guys, so we can't mess it up anymore. So that's why it's legal. But what I was thinking about is, wouldn't it be crazy if in this modern age of self-expression and freedom, really, especially when it comes to fluidity with your sexuality, what if, and I know right now it's against the rules of rugby, but that doesn't mean anything, because once the right amount of transgender supporters realize that if I or somebody like me, another naturally born, genetically born male identifies as a female, decides to go out for rugby, and they say I can't, I want to go out for female rugby because that's what I am, and they say no, you can't, whatever you're genetically born with is what, that doesn't last, dude, and we're going to get to the bottom of that, and we'll make enough waves in the transgender community to get me in. And geez Louise, could you really, it's different with, and they've used different sports, like with swimming. The ultimate thing about swimming is, sure, a male swimmer will break all the records if they put a wig on and swim in a shorter pool, okay? Yeah. So that Leah Thomas fellow lady, of course, and people were mad because, like, man, all these girls worked, these women, these athletes, they worked their whole lives, and then this one transgender comes in here and breaks every record, and everybody's mad about it. But it didn't hurt it hurt their feelings. It hurt the other competitors' feelings, but it did not hurt them physically. And then with like Greco-Roman wrestling, with collegiate style wrestling, there's been some stories about it where transitioned male into female athlete goes and wrestles these girls. But with wrestling, there's so many rules, and it's a controlled. There's less of a chance. You're on a mat, and there's rules about hitting and punching, and it's more grappling. And I think not that you can't get body slammed and you can't really hurt yourself doing it, but the risk is minimal, even if a man is doing it, because there's also a weight limit. So you could be, The Rock and go wrestle as a female in collegiate style wrestling, but you're still going to have to be wrestling some Dwayne Johnson size women. So there's still a minimal risk. But in rugby, that's not the case. The Rock could sign up for Stanford's rugby and say that he identifies as a Hawaiian woman. And if he didn't like women, which I don't know if he does or not. If you didn't like women and you were a very strong man and you put a little bit of effort into getting into shape, because you got to be in shape, not perfect shape. There were some big old women out there playing the rugby that I watched. But you got to get in enough shape to be able to run them back and forth around the field. And then just go crush some freaking skulls. I mean, if you didn't like women, you could really hurt them out there on the rugby. And I thought that is crazy, that could even be possible. But and I guess it isn't because it's illegal. But at the same time, so was other things. I mean, in recent history, just marrying, if you were a dude, just marrying your boyfriend was illegal, like 4 or 5 seconds ago. It's what it seems like, in especially in history's timeline. Obama was against it, I think. In his first term he was. His second term he wasn't. So that's how recent it is. We all like Obama, but even he was like, no, marriage is between a man and a woman. And that was popular back then. And so quickly, people are like, oh, they'll burn your house down if you say that crap. Why don't you go say that crap and watch your house get burnt down? And all your stuff. That's what they'll do. So I don't think it's outrageous to think that you have a very talented transgender, strong, fit, 6'5", 260-pound, think Micah Parsons for the Cowboys. He's a linebacker there. Maybe he's like, dude, I just want to tuck it back and, take some hormones and get out there and crush some women. I'm gonna keep my steroid regimen. I'm going to go out there and crush them because I don't like them. And it will be legal very soon. That's frightening if you are a female rugby player to know that that's on the horizon. I'm just saying, get your licks in while you still can, ladies, because once you get the Expendables in there, they're going to frickin' hurt you. And that's what's sad about this new world order. It is going to, you think it's to make everybody be equal, but ultimately it will force certain people from participating. And most of those people will be genetically born females. And so all you'll have is a bunch of men dressed up like women playing women's sports that weren't quite good enough to play as men. So it's just a field of every sport is played by men, but half of them are dressed up like ladies. But is it fair that now all women are not able to compete? I guess it's fair. I guess I don't know what fair is anymore. I don't know. I'm just saying, keep your head on a swivel if you're out there on the rugby field, even before the men get there. But once the men get there, keep your head on a swivel, ladies, because you're going to get frickin', when you see Brock Lesnar in those tiny shorts, in that tiny, dumb golf shirt that you guys wear, running, he's got a wig on, and he's running at you, and that dude can move. It's like a grizzly bear. You think like, oh, he's too big to run. You're wrong. He can run, and he'll be running at you, and you'll be like, oh, I'll put my head down, and he will frickin' push your spine through your anus, right through your anus. He will. So, and I don't know what brand of person Brock Lesnar is. I think he's like German or something. So, and You can be transgender and be German. It doesn't matter. You can be any nationality you want. So I was thinking about that earlier. Another thing I kind of woke up thinking about this morning. So I was laying in my bed. Just a beautiful. We have a queen size mattress. We got it at a high school gym a few years ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago now. It's very stiff. It is memory foam, but it's real hot, so it doesn't have any cooling gels or anything. It's just straight, stiff foam is basically what we got going on. And like I said, it's queen size, so it's one of the bigger beds you can buy. And it's on because when we bought our property in Oklahoma, we were debating with each other. My wife and I was like, do we want more land or do we want more space in our house? And so what we landed on was about 900 square foot of home, which is a lot. And we just parked that 900 square foot in the perfect, it's about, 1/17 of an acre lot. So a lot of room for the kids to run around, just a lot of acreage, really. A lot of space. People will come to our house all the time like, oh my Lord, look at all the space you have for stuff. And they're like, is that whole driveway yours? And I say, yeah, it is. You can park right behind me if you want. Not beside me. It's just a single car. So we got that going for us. And so I was laying in that bed, just kind of doing my gratitudes, being thankful for the bed that I'm in, being thankful that I've been listening to my son watch his shows or play his games all morning. And, he got up early, and I've been listening to him and giggle out there. That's fun. It's almost his birthday. Listening to my wife yell at my daughter to get ready and to get her clothes on, and I thought you cleaned your room, and where'd you put that thing? And just listening to that, just the sounds of the morning is what I liked. Some people like birds chirping or water, like a nice little babbling brook. I like just domestic disputes, between an 8-year-old girl and a 35-year-old woman, just going back and forth, just both as sharp as each other. That's what's so funny. My daughter is as quick as anybody I've ever been around when it comes to, especially if she's comfortable. She'll be well behaved, and if she doesn't know you, doesn't trust you. But once she gets into that zone, look out. She's quick. So if you say something to her, like, hey, can you go put that up? She'll have an answer. Here's why I didn't do it, and here's why it's dumb for you to ask me. She's quick. So I was listening to those and just being like, this is great. This is my life, and I love it. I love laying here and listening to this every morning and stretching, just getting my stretch in, kind of thinking about the day, hoping that the bank will call me and tell me to come sign some papers so I can get to work. Thinking about some things I need to work on that if they don't call. That kind of stuff. So what happened is my son come into the room, and he's almost 10, just perfect, the perfect boy, the perfect son, everything. And so he comes in there and he's like, "Ooh, why are you so warm?" Because I was not under the covers. I was just laying there, and I was like, get up here and lay with me. And does that move where you lay on the crook of your arm or whatever. He's like, "Why are you so warm?" And I was like, just been sitting here baking like a biscuit, buddy. Just baking. I'm a biscuit. I'm a biscuit dad now, And got him giggling about it. And as he left to go to school and all that, I started thinking about that. I was like, I don't know how. I think the cat got involved somehow. Our Hellcat, like Jonah was, because usually the cat's on the bed also. It likes to It's a queen size, so there's plenty of room, like I said. So the cat will get up there and curl up. It likes to be on the bed when we're, especially if my wife or I leaves, it likes to fill in for that spot. And so he was playing with the cat, and I was like, man, if I was a biscuit, wouldn't it be cool if I just baked Delilah and put her inside me, And he's like, no, that wouldn't be cool. But he knew I was joking, so we laughed about it. But as he left, I was thinking, like, isn't that crazy that, like, my wife will make biscuits two ways. Either she'll buy the canned Pillsbury or whatever. It can be a knockoff. You don't always have to go name brand biscuit. You can get a good off-brand. But she likes, and I do too, the flaky. Meaning the one that you could almost peel in layers. It's Pillsbury Grand flaky biscuits are an amazing invention that I think would stop a lot of the problems that we have in the world if we could do some sort of outreach program with a missionary or with some sort of religious group that is traveling the world to talk to people that aren't aware of things that we have in Western society. Maybe even stop this war in Russia and Ukraine. Now, they all know what biscuits are, but they know the flour, tough, almost gummy biscuit. When somebody's like, hey, I made homemade biscuits, and you in your mind go, uh-oh. Because you're never going to make a better biscuit than a Pillsbury flaky. That's no matter how great you are. And I've had really amazing chefs, really talented culinary experimentists that are passionate about their baking and and they care, and there's love in it, and they measure the ingredients, and they know where this ingredient doesn't belong in here, and they know how to substitute things, and they're great. There's no way that even the best homemade biscuit will be as consistently as good as that flaky biscuit that Pillsbury makes. There's no way. And I've tried them all. And so what's so wild to me is that when I know that there's biscuit in the house, when you can almost smell it. Yeah. And say that I was gone and my wife, while I was away, decided to make biscuits and gravy, which she is fantastic at. And I walk in the door, I might smell biscuit. Like you get that Tim Allen Home Improvement little growl that happens in your head. What is this? What is that? And you know instantly, ooh, there's been biscuit here. And so I might walk into the kitchen and there's nothing there, and as far as on the stove or ready. It might be late and there's a reason why it's not there. It's put away. But I'll look over on our cupboard, and there might be a Ziploc bag there filled with biscuit. And now the challenge is, because if that's happened, I know that inside of our 1930s refrigerator, there is a delicious bowl of gravy in there. I'm aware of that. And I'll want to try it. I'll want to open the lid of that Tupperware and dip half of one of these flaky little bastards into there and have just a terrific little snack. But also, once a biscuit has been formed, has been baked, is ready as a slice of bread, as ready as a bagel, it's in a Ziploc bag, ready to be consumed. Do you want to microwave it? Do you want to put butter on it? Do you want to put jelly on it? Do you want to put peanut butter on it? You can do almost anything with this biscuit. It's a conveyance of flavor that is different texture than a slice of bread, that is different texture than a bagel, that is different than a tortilla. Yet, have you ever put taco meat and cheese and jalapeno and sour cream and guacamole on a biscuit and made yourself a biscuit taco burger? You probably haven't. I have. Have you ever put pizza sauce and pepperoni and mozzarella and made yourself a little bit of a biscuit pizza? You probably have not, but I have. And every time that I say, wait a minute, usually when I make a ham and cheese sandwich, I will use regular bread, but we have biscuit. Then I will make it with biscuit. And guess what? It is great and better than when it was on normal, crappy white bread. So what's wild to me is that even in my joke in the morning, when I was telling my son that we could put cat in there, there is a country out there that loves to eat cat. You know what I mean? That's happening. And just for a second, think about your favorite cat you've ever had. And know that if you took that cat on a leash into a certain part of this world, someone would lick their lips at that. I'd love to roast your cat. I'd love to roast your cat. And they would love to. They love it. They marinate it. Oh, we put it in Worcestershire sauce for 3 days. That's what we do. Ooh, whoa, what a nice Russian blue you got there. You thinking about frying it? It's like, this is my cat, dude. No, I'm not going to fry my cat. Like, oh, Russian blue is great. If you chop up if you quarter it and fry it in quarters, ooh, that's good eating. That exists, guys. I'm not trying to be inflammatory with my speech. And that's what I think a lot of people, you guys are so bubbled. Get out of your bubble and know that somewhere right now, someone is digging through a cooler looking for last night's cat. Looking for last night's cat. Okay? They're digging through it. Hey! And they don't speak English, but just imagine. Hey! Where's last night's cat? I thought you said we had leftovers. And then somebody's like, it's in the bottom drawer. Oh, okay, here it is. And it's greasy. It's greasy. They'll open the Tupperware. That's cat. You know it is because it's all the grease is right there. They pull out one of them quarters and just bite it cold. I love it cold I love it cold. I love eating the fried cat cold. And that stuff is going on, guys. And we're sitting around talking about a border crisis and sending Venezuelans and Mexicans to Martha's Vineyard. And that's a problem, I guess. But get out of the bubble. Because meanwhile, in Venezuela, some dude's hacking a damn Russian blue in half, getting ready to throw it in a deep fryer. But what would be great is if I could take my biscuit-loving body down to Venezuela, where they are eating cat, and hand them a flaky grand biscuit and say, if you thought it was good, cold, and congealed, you should try it now on this biscuit. And I heat up that biscuit just perfect in the microwave, maybe 20 seconds, and I get that cat perfectly warm, and I melt some cheese over that cat. Ooh, what is that, cat shoulder? Yeah, put a little cheese on that cat shoulder. I put it on that biscuit. Maybe I mix a little special sauce. Little mayo mixed with ketchup, but put some spices in there and make a little pink sauce. And I squirt it on there. And I hand that over to this Venezuelan and I say, now take a bite. Have I just made a bridge to two countries? Yes. I don't care that you eat cat, Venezuela. I do care that you're not enjoying it on a biscuit. There's a better way to eat it. It's called right here, in between these flaky pillows of goodness. So, and I know that there's like other people wake up and think of other problems. And I have too, okay? I don't always wake up thinking about what's the best carb to wrap a cat in. I don't wake up thinking that. I'm not a freaking psycho. I don't wake up every day thinking of it. But I did wake up today thinking about that. And then being like, God, I wish I was putting on a rugby outfit to go bounce some chick's skull off the ground. Oh. So, I'm in a good mood, needless to say. I'm in a good mood. For no reason. I write these notes to myself to be positive and to love myself, that I can do it. And sometimes that helps. I know my kids are in there having a good time because their friends are here. So that puts me in a good mood when they can have a good evening down here. So if it comes across, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm not my typical the world's ending self right now, okay? I'm trying to be more positive, like my blood type. And sometimes you just got to laugh and think about, it, dude. Some dude with a big old turban on, poking a shish kebab filled with onions and cat meat over a fire. And he's going to enjoy it. He always has. Put a little turmeric on it, put a little bit of Old Bay seasoning on it. He likes it that way. He's been eating it like this his whole life. But you walk in there with a couple damn grand biscuits, and you sandwich the end of that shish kebab, and you pull off an onion and a cat. You suck it off that shish kebab stick, and you hand it to that turban-wearing man, and you grab his pan flute, and you start doodling it. And guess what? He takes a bite. You've changed that man's life. And that's why I think that with the UN summit going on, with Biden getting ready to speak tomorrow to the UN summit that's happening, this kind of stuff can heal the nations. Let people eat their weird food. Let people kick a horse to death and then cut its leg off and eat it like a big turkey leg at their fair. Let it happen. But if you got a way to improve their dumbass recipe, send it to them. Send them a pack of frickin' biscuits. Let them get scared when they open them up. You know what I'm saying? Let them be scared to peel a biscuit can package. We shouldn't be the only ones feeling that fear. Because at the end of that pop, there's a delicious little treat. Whew. Everybody always jumps when that happens. Poop. Ooh, it's worth it, though. Your butt puckers, but you put those delicious little circles onto that baking sheet and you bake them up. And you can put whatever you want on them. Gravy's a great start, but it's not the only thing. Think about expanding your palate. But don't be weird in America. Go to a different country. Bring your biscuits. Be weird there. Don't keep Austin weird. Okay? Make Pakistan weird. Okay? Make India weird. Let's spread our knowledge. A biscuit, I used to think bagel. And a good bagel's hard to beat. And for breakfast, it might be, for a breakfast sandwich, it might be the best. But biscuits, oh God, it's right there. It's right there because it's so different. A sloppy Joe, which a lot of people have been calling our president, and I don't appreciate it, but a sloppy Joe meat on a biscuit with cheese and pickles, get out of here. Get the hell out of here. That's delicious. Did you just make this, sir? Ma'am? Did you put sloppy Joe meat on this biscuit and put pickles and cheese on it? Get the hell out of here. It's the most greatest invention ever. And that's what's happening in my house. I do this kind of stuff, and my family loves me for it. They love me for it. They don't think of it. And I'm sitting here thinking, this must be happening in Pakistan. It's not. They don't even know the biscuit exists. They're eating the hard ones, bud. They're eating the hard ones. And somebody thinks they're really good. That's the freaking shame of it. Somebody does. So, it's not all bad. Here's something that I thought was funny, and I might have told you. Did I tell you? I probably did if I think I did. I think I did on the other night when I was doing the car show. Did I tell you about the freezer? I think I did. The congelator. Anyways, I'm going to pretend that I did. If I didn't, I'm going to start pointing at the camera. Hit me up in the comments on my YouTube. YouTube at Con Radio. That's where you find the Connie G Show. It's on Con Radio's YouTube channel. If you just want to listen, hit me up in my comments on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Just look for the Connie G Show. This show is brought to you by Diamond CBD. If you want to get legally high, buy your Delta 8, Delta 9, or Delta 10 CBDs at Diamond CBD. By doing so, you will support this great show. And you will also be high. You can click that link for Diamond CBD on OK Taco Company. Go to thewaterhead.com. Just go to thewaterhead.com. That's where you can help us out. I'm working on that site. If I can get the login information from my wife, I will add some stuff to it. But I'm afraid to ask her because I'll feel like she'll be like, I can do it. I was like, I know you can, but I don't want to tell you to do this stuff. You know, I'd much rather play rugby with you. So, one thing that we'll do to end the show is when I was on Con Radio's YouTube channel today, kind of looking through to see if anybody had watched our videos. And yeah, we get 6 or 7 views each time. So a lot of people are like, why do you sit out there and talk to yourself? And I'm like, you think I'm talking to myself? Because my latest video has 7 views, dummy. That's 7 people. Yeah, sure, maybe 2 of them are me, idiot. But that's still 5 other people. So, but as I was looking at the views from this great show that you guys support so well by sharing it with your friends and telling people to subscribe, is I guess there's something that comedians were doing for a while that I was not aware of, and there was the Internet's Weirdest Questions, which is like a YouTube channel where they would bring comedians in to answer these questions. And I didn't watch them, so just know that if I repeat something that you heard, it's because it's in the ether. It's a common response, comedically, maybe, and maybe not. Maybe I won't. My point is I haven't watched them answer these questions yet, but I Googled Internet's Weirdest Questions, and then there's like a whole game show that they were pulling from that channel at like bars and stuff. So I have a list of sample questions here that I will answer. I'll have to read them to myself, but it's fine. The first one is sex with one person, but they die after. Who do you pick? And that's weird because the obvious choice is that you pick, because who cares? You've never met Jennifer Aniston, and if she died, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't affect you. So what? You'll have one less C movie every, 6 years. You'll have somebody else doing lotion commercials, but probably somebody just equally as beautiful. So you could say Jennifer Aniston because you got to do it, and you could tell people I did that, then she died, and really nobody's really affected by it because we still got pictures of her, and that's all that really matters. But there's also a part where you take it. I think that maybe you solve a problem. Maybe you go Vladimir Putin. You know what I mean? I'll have sex with him. I can have sex with Vladimir Putin and end this war. We can get back to work. Or for that matter, Joe Biden, if you didn't like him, or Donald Trump. Maybe you want to take one. Maybe you're not even, maybe you're not even homosexual, but you say, I will have sex with the King of China, whatever that guy's name is, and maybe it will stop all this ridiculousness that happens. So I think that's out. I will, because I don't know everybody's name that's like a horrific world leader. I'm going to say I would pick Vladimir Putin. Because I don't, if I want to have sex to enjoy it, I would have sex with my wife. That's why I married her, dummy. Okay? So if I want to have sex to kill a person, I'm going to pick a person that needs to die. And apparently, I would do my due diligence and pick the right person, but I'd pick a bad guy. I'd Dexter it. So that's my answer to that question. The next question is, everyone naked or clothed all the time? You got to stay clothed. The problem with everyone, I like being naked. I like it better the more and more effort I put into my body, just because you don't feel as self-conscious. Everybody still feels, most people probably still feel self-conscious, including myself, about my naked body or their naked body. But you just don't want, the problem is furniture, and you don't want to put a bunch of, you don't want to carry around a black towel. And that's what I'd have to do. If everybody was naked all the time, because you don't want to, like, go eat and leave a shit stain or a skid mark or something on a booth or something. And so you carry a black towel, and people know that that's because you're a skidder, and they'll call you that. And so I'd say just wear clothes and keep your fecality to yourself, fecality. So, Royal Rumble with food mascots, who wins? That's the next question. Royal Rumble with food mascots, who wins? I don't know what a food mascot is. I didn't know that existed. Are you talking about like the cow from Chick-fil-A? Is that a food mascot? Or like the honeycomb guy or something? I guess I'd say the honeycomb guy. Or, no, Tony the Tiger. Tony the Tiger, if that's a food mascot, that dude, because that's a freaking tiger, guys. I know he seems calm demeanored, but that's what those two magicians thought before that tiger ate Siegfried or whatever. So, yeah, I would say Tony the Tiger on that one. Orgasm every time you hear All Star or get punched by Mike Tyson. Are you talking about they must be talking about the song by Uncle Kracker. I think it's Uncle Kracker. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get your show on. Get paid. All that glitters is gone. Only shooting stars wait for. And they're like, oh. What happened? I just had an orgasm. I do it every time a song comes on. I would say the song, because it doesn't come on very often. And in fact, if I orgasmed, I would orgasm the exact same amount of times I do now. Like probably about 7 times a year. Is how much I probably hear that song in the background of my life. So, I don't care about, I'm not scared of Mike Tyson. I don't know why. I've watched the videos. He's a very frightening man, but I've never really been scared about that kind of stuff. So I don't mind. I wouldn't mind coming on Mike Tyson as he punched me, if I'm going to be. Or listening to that song, it caused me to come, and that is what made him punch me. That could happen. And especially if we were all naked, then he would know. Erase one movie from existence. I don't know. I don't know what movies caused the most damage. That was the most influential, but almost negatively. So that one I don't know. I like art, and I like the fact that I know they'll be like, we got to pick one, and it's like, I guess I would pick. This is gonna sound I think I would pick Billy Madison. I like Adam Sandler, and I think that Happy Gilmore and The Waterboy and even Billy Madison, I think that it has its place in history, and especially big budget comedic movies. But I also think that it gave him a magic wand that he was then allowed to utilize at his discretion to make whatever garbage that he wanted to make. Everybody had to feel like it was funny because we all had to be like, it's really great that he's just working with his friends and doing this, and he's doing what he wants and he's creating. And but if what you're doing with your friends is hanging out in Hawaii to shoot Grown Ups, which is just an awful movie, or hanging out in whatever beautiful location to shoot some sort of pointless movie that you all get to, have catered, I don't like it. It's not good. It's not entertainment anymore, and you know it. And so if by getting rid of Billy Madison, I stopped the whole Happy Madison production from continuing, then maybe I choose that. That's what I choose. Hot dogs for fingers or hamburger butt cheeks is the next question. I would rather have hamburger butt cheeks, I think. I guess they're talking about... Are you talking about the buns? Like your buns would be made out of bread, and then your crack would be meat? So it looked like a hamburger? Or if you're talking about each one of my butt cheeks is basically like blackish brownish and being a hamburger. That would be tough to be a Caucasian but have a black dimpled butt. But I still would prefer that over having flexible fingers that were like, if I was just squeezing them together, because a hot dog, if it's uncooked, will have a little bit of give to it. They're not real sturdy. I like having bones in my fingers. Will my hot dog fingers have bones? But I still think that's creepy. I would rather hide it. It's kind of like the naked thing. Hide your butt cheeks because you can wear clothes. If you walk around, it's fun to be the hot dog finger guy for a while, but it's still, you constantly would have to explain it to people. People would be like, ooh. They'd always have that face of ooh on them. And it would be because your fingers look like hot dogs. And you would have to say, oh, you're probably looking at my fingers right now. And they'd say, yeah, what's going on with that? And you'd say, yeah, I made a choice on a quiz. I picked hot dog fingers. And now I woke up and had them. They got bones in them, though. And they're actually made out of skin. They just look like hot dogs. And they'd be like, well, what was the other choice? And you would say, like, hamburger for butt cheeks. And they'd say, I would have chose that. And that's why I don't want to get caught not choosing that. Would you rather know how you're going to die or when? I don't think I would want to know either of those things. I think both would cause so much anxiety. I guess I would say how. But the messed up thing on that is if it's something that you felt like, because you didn't know when it's going to happen, if it's something you felt like you could control, you would start adjusting your life that way. But it doesn't matter because that's still how you're going to die. You know what I mean? Like if you were a heavy smoker, somebody would be like, well, do you want to know how or when? And you'd say how, and they'd say lung cancer, and you'd be like, okay, I'm going to stop smoking. And then you still die of lung cancer. That might be 40 years from now, And then if you said when, they might say tomorrow, and you'd be like, uh-oh. And the irony is you could know both if you just were committed to committing suicide. You know what I mean? If you just would, because then you could just say, I'm going to die by gunshot and tomorrow. So you could know that. Suicidal people know that answer, and they know both. Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't like that kind of question very often. I like to not know, and I like to think I'll live forever, and I hope to see my kids, live and have kids. I want to have all the grandkids and all the great-grandkids and all that stuff, you know. And I want them to all kind of, like, be annoyed that they have to come see me, you know, that kind of thing. Pick one celebrity to be your wingman. This is the final question. I would pick... That's tough because you can go a different direction. You can be like, do you pick a really attractive... Like, my wife is really attracted to Bradley Cooper or Brad Pitt or something. And do you pick somebody like that because even though they may not be interested in the females that you're interested in, because they're with you, if the females will try to get with Bradley Cooper, when they can't, they will then go to you. So it's a good wingman to have. Or do you go something like, most likely, dude, I will be spending a lot of time with my wingman. So maybe you go something weird and get like I think that if I wanted to have the funnest time with my wingman, I would pick somebody from Love on the Spectrum. Probably James from Love on the Spectrum. He's into Renaissance style garb and weaponry. He would always be telling me about it. And he would be talking about, oh, guess what happened? I Googled how to make a trebuchet last night, and he would explain it to me. And we'd go out and try to make one. If we got into situations where I was wanting to talk to somebody, I would send James in there. That's what a wingman does. And I know that he would be passionate and vividly describe what I was looking for and not understand what the response is. Because usually that's it's an unreasonable response even if you're asking it yourself. Because everybody's pretty stupid out there. So I would pick James from Love on the Spectrum. And that's the game, everybody. That's Internet's Weirdest Questions. I don't know if I played it right. And that's just a sample on the first Google. But there are, like, a number of, like, answertheinternet.com, find out how sick your friends are, answer the internet game. There's all these different things. So we'll play it more moving forward. It's kind of fun. It's different, you know. It's kind of like questions I think about anyways most of the time, so it's not that odd for me, but I like that it's written down that I'll read them to you and try to answer them on some of these shows. So anyways, thank you guys for listening, and do the stuff I told you earlier about, you know, doing the thing with the buttons that you do on here and telling people about it and sharing. And we're working on, we're going to get this damn building. Gonna get this building, and Caleb's gonna come down, and everybody else that's listening is gonna come down and help us get this thing going, and we're gonna rock it, and it's gonna be it's gonna be crazy, and you guys get to be a part of it. There'll be shows going out of it. It's gonna be wild. So just be patient with us. Be patient with the progress of it, and we're looking forward to it more than anyone. And it's going to be an amazing challenge, and I'll be wildly frustrated some evenings and wildly appreciative of others and proud and all that stuff, you know, but we're going to do it. So as much as you guys don't think you're a part of it, if you're listening to this, especially at this point, you're a big part of it. So I can't wait to share it with you and have you involved in whatever way you want to be. Because if you made it this far, you are why I'm doing it. And you get it. So, be positive. Love yourself. You can do it. And, you know, don't let your meatloaf out there, everybody. We'll see you. Subscribe. Love you.